Okay, good morning, guys. Welcome to SEM UNILAG, that's Sherlock Maritime UNILAG. I'm glad all of you are here. I know, actually, just waiting for our guests to arrive. Sorry for the delay. So, yeah, thank you very much for staying with us. We'll be here as soon as possible. So, for you guys that are just joining, yeah, our guest is not yet around for now. Sure, we'll soon be around. Just give us a while. Thank you for joining us. We'll start as soon as possible. So, you guys are just joining. You guys can comment on the live section so I can see who's available, who's online. Yeah, I can see some comments already in the live comments. Some people are online already. I just want to see you guys online to wait until the until our guest speakers are on. So thank you for joining us. You hope to know the good day. And don't forget to comment on the live section so we can know who's online and others. You can just text hi or send a text message so we can know how many people are online. Yeah, thank you for patiently waiting. So y'all can keep the comments coming so can make this interactive at least. So if you're just joining us, kindly send a text message and live comment so we can. Thank you so much. So let's get straight to business. Yeah. So now I'll be seeing some comments on the live section, so it shows that okay, some people are available now. Yeah. So basically, yeah, SEM means Sherlock Marathon, and what we strive for is is for basically efficiency in cars, or making the environment economically friendly. Basically, yeah. So this year, due to like the challenges, due to like the COVID challenges, due to the COVID challenge, we were unable to like perform on track, but now we are doing off track performance and all. Sure. So what's like to be like on Sherlock Marathon? Actually a very very nice encounter because you tend to like meet nice people, like people with different mindset, different skill sets, where you guys come together and cooperate, work together, like make things better, build stuff. Exactly, that's like the main thing. Build stuff, build beautiful stuff, and making the world better, basically, on a more general terms. So it's actually been fun joining Charlotte Marathon. Actually, it's been fun. Actually joined like I think I joined last this year. Yeah, early this year. So it's been nice. I've learned a couple of stuff, something that you won't learn on a normal basis. Like you can't learn it in school or something. Researching about materials used in making cars and all, make how to make light with cars, materials, substitute for materials, basically because I'm on the material sub things. So I've been able to like learn beautiful stuffs, improve my knowledge basically. Okay, I think our guest is here. So as I was saying, okay. So as I was saying, it's been nice. The encounter's been nice basically, yeah. Especially working on the car actually. Been actually very intriguing. Although there are challenges we're going to face obviously, but I think with this team spirit we'll be able to like encounter some challenges at some point. And now we're like hoping to like make stuff better, like working off track. Working out is actually not easy, but I'm trying to like make it better. As you can see the live session, I hope you guys actually get to like enjoy it and actually like understand some things. So I think I'm going to start with the introduction now. Basically. So hello everyone, welcome to today's SEM UNILAG session. My name is Abdurrahman Adebayo and I'm from like the material sub team, Marathon UNILAG. Marathon UNILAG, that's SEM basically. So basically right now we have like a lot of people watching across Nigeria right now basically. And I just want to express my hope that everyone is well with the family and the families are actually safe in this challenging time because due to this challenge, you can be unable to like walk on track. So I hope everybody stay safe basically. So basically, this is how the schedule will go. When the lecturer arrives, you're going to give a talk for like 45 minutes. Then there'll be like a question and answer section for like 20 minutes. You guys can drop your question and answer section in the live comment here. Then from the live comment, I'll be able to like track your answer questions and actually answer them by forwarding it to the lecturer. By the way, the lecturer's name is Dr. Mohammed. Will soon be here. Sorry for the delay actually. And you all can like follow us on our social media account that's Shelecom Marathons, that's SEM Unilag on Twitter and Instagram. And you guys can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You guys can subscribe to our YouTube channel basically. Up to this guest speaker. His name is Dr. Mohammed Adil Khattak. He's a materials engineer at HRL Technology Group, Pty Limited. He is a strong engineering professional with a Doctor of Philosophy in Mechanical, that's Mechanics and Metallurgy engineering. He's an experienced, reliable engineer with deep demo and application of various equipment. So to this topic, as you can see, is 10 ideas for a green transportation infrastructure. So let me give an insight on what this is, like express it, how you use aluminum and all other materials, how you can reduce them to make the society, to make the environment friendly, basically. Because we know that the production of steel material that actually emits greenhouse gases when they can transportation. I think there's a delay in the time. That's why the lecture, this guest speaker is not wrong. But trust yourself. Sorry for the delay. Basically. I'm going to go through the slides now, just giving us a brief note on it. So yeah, the topic is 10 ideas for a green transportation infrastructure by Dr. Mohammed Adil Khattak, materials and mechanical engineer, working for HR Technology Limited. So on the first slide, it talks about ice breaking. I can see a picture of a rural area where a lot of cars are with carbon emissions affecting the atmosphere basically. So yeah, talks about sometimes the best definition of a concept can be found by describing what it is not. Exactly, because for you to know what, for you to understand a concept, you have to know what it is not. Like what's not what you're trying to like think about. Okay, for example, now if I'm talking about greenhouse emission, I need to explain what is not greenhouse emission, so you should not like contradict them together. So on the second point, it talks about when it comes to the idea, when it comes to the idea of generic of green transportation infrastructure, that's pretty easy. All one has to do is to get across the ideas to highlight the experience virtually all of us have shared at some point in our lives. Sitting in our motionless cars on a jam high parkway as the vehicles spill emission. So what you're saying here, as it has been demonstrated repeatedly, transportation infrastructure based around individual in automobiles contributes to global warming, pollution, health problems, and energy insecurity. Conversely, the idea behind the green transportation infrastructure is one that provides opportunities for people to get around their communities using their own power, such as walking, biking, or other environmental sensitive means like train or buses. Yeah, what he's talking about is that basically everybody has actually experienced some why all of them are switched on. Gases are emitted, causing pollution in all segments. There's no one that's actually not experienced something like this before. So the idea is about making a green infrastructure. It's about okay, we all know we have to like move from one place to another. So there can be alternative means just like bicycles, which don't emit pollutant gases and all other automobiles. So plus that transition infrastructure is the one that provides opportunity for people to get around their communities. Yeah, basically the reason why we use transportation is to move from one place to another. So how can we do this? How can we do this by implementing the green transportation infrastructure? So we can do this by either walking or biking. Although that's like a stressful means, but in situations whereby we can actually implement this kind of transportation infrastructure, it will be better gases or pollution of the atmosphere. compared to the use of bus and trains, which emit high amount of gases on daily. So as you can see here in the diagram, we see a vehicle that uses combustion engine.
Hello. Okay.
Okay, so our guest speaker is here. Let's take over from here. Good day, sir.
Okay.
So on reintroducing our guest speaker, his name is Dr. Mohammed Adil Khattak. He's a materials engineer at
Yeah.
HRF Technology
Can
Group
you?
Pty Limited.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you properly. I can hear you clearly now, sir.
Okay. And how can it works? Actually, this is my first time on this StreamYard. So okay. Okay. So
Mhm.
let's say if I want to move my slides, so how can I
Let me
start?
reintroduce you, sir.
I mean, I can. Okay. I mean, everybody can hear me.
Okay, if you want to move your slides, you should
Okay. There is a.
there's a,
Okay.
there's a private.
Okay. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, they can hear you. I can hear you, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Can you hear
Just
me,
give me
sir?
a second, huh? Just give me a
Okay,
sec.
no problem. Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. because the materials of this book limited. He has a strong engineering profession with a doctor of philosophy, mechanics and metallurgy engineering. He's an experienced, reliable engineer with demonstrated history of working and managing preventive and predictive maintenance program and directed root cause failure analysis to correct repetitive failures mechanism of various equipment. So he's going to be back soon. I hope you guys really enjoy it today.
I hope somebody is listening to me. Hello. Hello. Anybody hear me? Okay. Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me now. Okay, I think now nobody can hear me. Okay, Abdus Salam. Lukman. We called it Lukman here. That's good you can hear me. So tell me, how can we start actually? I mean, I'm just finding it difficult to move the.
Good day, sir.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So
Yeah,
your
I'm
slide
sorry
is
for the mess.
it's all right, sir. So your slide is up now. Once
Okay,
you're done with a slide, just indicate and I'll move to the next one.
okay, and how can I indicate you there?
You can use the okay. Just tell me next.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right. Thank you.
So I can start now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys and ladies and gentlemen, actually, guys and girls. First of all, thank you for SEM UNILAG, the Shell and University of Lagos, actually, for giving me this opportunity to be with you guys today. I believe that you have just started your day in my part of the world. We are just finishing it. Uh, and I will personally thank to Fortune for being with me, and he actually has a lot of patience for all these days that we were passing all the information and other things. So I had so many few other topics we were trying to select, but because of this transportation infrastructure, I have choose this because this is a journal topic, and an engineer, actually, we have a lot of things to contribute for a green environment, and green transportation is one of them. And in the coming slides, I have like 10 slides, and in each slides, I would like to discuss with you about how can we make our infrastructure or environment or the place or the community more greener by using different methods, and those methods will include materials, structure, how can we make transportation, make the things greener through transportation infrastructure. So you can say that we are not going into much of the technicality here, but this uh, presentation will be going on more of a journal, type. So we can start. Fortune, can you give me the next slide? Thank you. So I don't know. Is it an interactive session, like people can ask questions live, or I'll be the one talking one way?
Okay, sir. So the plan is you go through your entire presentation and we'll take note of the questions in the comments. So after
Okay.
we will now answer. Thank you.
No worries. Okay. Okay. So the first thing is like, what is actually green infrastructure, green transportation infrastructure? There are so many concepts flowing around the city and other things. And if you see the picture on the slide, actually, I'm sure you can recognize this area. I was trying to take some of the pictures from Nigeria, and if I tell you that, because I'm from Pakistan, so we do have a similar situation in Pakistan also, about the transport, and you can see all there's no traffic rules actually. I'm sure Nigeria will be much better actually. But what I'm saying is here is like things like this compel us to go for thinking, and for as an engineer, they prompt us, and they compel us to do something about it. So the first thing which comes is, by looking at this picture, what comes in our mind is that can we make this traffic more harmonized? I mean, look at the people and the cars, everything is going together. The cars are making a lot of pollution, and we can see some garbage at the corner of the picture also, which is also contributing to the environment. And then we can see people are going, definitely no mask, no nothing. So it is directly causing the environment and directly causing harm to the health of the people. So sometime, if you want to define something, a concept actually, and it's better to tell them what it is not. I mean, by looking at this picture, I'm telling you, or we are looking at some problems here. So, how to solve it? That would be the solution here. So, when it comes to the idea of a green transportation infrastructure, that's pretty easy. How? All one has to go some idea that we are virtually like sitting in a bus, in a van, in a car, and it's a peak hours, so people are either going in the morning to the office, or people are coming back, or school timing. So we are stuck virtually. We can think that we are stuck virtually somewhere in between the traffic jam and the high tide areas. I mean, there are so many traffic there. So what happened is, what we are thinking at that moment, actually sitting in our motionless cars on the jam-packed highways with the vehicles spewing emissions and the pollution into the air. If you or me are lucky, I'm in the sitting in my own car, then somehow I can spare myself from all the emission and other things. But again, if even if I'm in the winter or the summer with the aircon or the heater, you see, it's just a circulation of air, so it's getting some air from the outside also. So what we are thinking, I mean, it has been demonstrated repeatedly that a transportation infrastructure based around individual in automobiles contributes to a global warming, pollution, health problems, and energy insecurity, as we just was discussing looking at this picture. So conversely, the idea behind a green transportation infrastructure is one that provides opportunities for people to get around their communities using their own power, such as walking or bike, or by other more environmentally sensitive means like trains or buses. Now, definitely the questions comes like, okay, I'm going every day 20 kilometer, 30 kilometer to my office. How can I go by bike? Okay. And if I'm going by bus, the bus is taking more time, or the bus are too crowded, and the bus are jams, and so many questions. Yeah, but we will be replying all these answers in the coming slides. How we can make actually our transport more greener, and the transport infrastructure greener, by providing each of answering to each of these questions. So the first thing is here that we understand what a green transportation infrastructure means: to make the environment clean, to make it more healthy, to make it, for the global warming, because we all knows that the main problem from the emission of the cars and automobiles and other CO2, which is actually harming our environment. So we'll go now one by one. to see how many, like as we say, like we are just discussing 10 points. There may be many more, but so we start with the number 10 first. Fortune, can you give me the next slide? Thank you. So now, the first thing actually nowadays you see, I mean, in the developed countries, the boost for electric vehicle is talk of a town. But for like countries like Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, I mean, India is more I mean advanced. Pakistan and like I'll say my country actually. So for that region, we are looking for electric vehicles. And with electric vehicles, what comes in our mind, the first thing is coming in our mind is electric cars only. So electric vehicle doesn't mean only electric cars actually. Electric vehicles are starting from the train. You may have seen the trains. Most of the trains are actually utilizing electricity. Then we have vehicles. I mean the automobiles. Another thing is electric bike actually. This is a very, I mean, good. Like people like electric bikes here in Australia, and it is definitely. We'll see how it is environment friendly, but that is actually replacing the cars and trains and other mode of transportation here. Just to give you one example, one of my colleague here, he actually travel like 20 kilometers in the morning. So he can buy electric bike. The like you can understand the amount of fuel he will be saving. So plus the main problem is what CO2. So if you see the second para, our modeling shows, I mean the CO2. So we have some figures here on the left side of the figure. If I'm using a gasoline vehicle, so the CO2 emission for for a certain amount of period, if I'm using it, or on a full tank actually, so it's like 11,000 pounds CO2. And if I'm using electric vehicle charge like this one, it is only 4,000. So you can see 11,000 and 4,000. So it makes like less than 50%. And if you are going with the renewable, I mean, no electricity actually, then you can see no CO2, no these other gases. So these are the things, I mean, they're saying there was some modeling done by Ford Motor Company.
My laptop.
And they have,
I think so.
so can I continue? Can I continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I hope things are the same as I left actually. So I mean, we need as an engineer, we need some proof of whatever we are talking. So Ford Motor Company is one of the leading company in the world, and its associate director actually for global electrification infrastructure. They actually did some good modeling, and they say that well, it shows a significant benefit in CO2 reduction for every mile our customer are driving their car. And this is what we shown on the left side of the graph, that more than 50% is reduced. A big problem, however, in the growth of electric vehicle is the lack of chargers available. Yes, that is another problem. You will not find it just like a fuel station at every corner in our country. So what we can do, I mean, if I'm using the vehicle, then I need a charger for that. So what the people are doing is that, like the electric vehicles more viable is that six automakers recently agreed on a charging connector that will make it possible for most electric cars to be charged much more rapidly than was previously. Like 80% charge in just 10 minutes. So that's amazing actually. If this is happening, then there is no problem. I mean, you can find, I mean, on a full tank or full charge battery or the one, if you can go for 100 or 200 kilometers more than that. So you can find one, and in 10 minutes or 15 minutes, you can recharge and move further. Yes, economy is one of the biggest issues for countries like us. But again, it's the government actually which can regulate the taxes and other thing to make a boost for electric vehicles. So that is one of the way to make things more greener for us because they're less CO2 emission. And we just had a look that how many things are solved: health problem, environmental problem, and energy crisis and other things. So, Fortune, can you give me the next slide? Okay,
Give me a moment, sir.
no
I'll
worries.
put it up. I'll put it up in a short while.
Sure.
Good day, sir. So whilst I connect back, there is a question we have.
Okay.
So Bolu says, are there any instances of widespread adoption of EV charging stations outside of the US?
Actually, the thing is, Bolu, huh? Mr. Bolu. The thing is, like, first thing is adoption, okay? Why we have adoption? The widespread comes the second thing. Adoption is only coming after we adopt something, okay? So the question is, outside US, how many countries are adopting electric vehicles? Can you tell me, I mean, how much is in the Nigeria? Maybe 1% I can say, or 10%. Let's say I don't have like a rate. For the sake of argument, we can say 5% in Nigeria, let's say. So for the 5% of for the 5% adoption of electric vehicle in Nigeria, what do you think? How much widespread adoption we should need? Definitely, if I'm going for electric vehicle, I'll go first in the main city. Let's say your capital city, because many people are there, and it's more of the trade center and other things. So then you can say yes. If I am putting 5% like vehicle there, I have to provide the charges also. So for your question, yes, there is not a widespread adoption of electric vehicle, number one, and then the charging stations come. But in this today's presentation, we are just looking for the options how we can make our infrastructure more greener. And I'll just share with you when I was doing my PhD. Uh, in my first semester, I was looking to do some experiments, and I don't have any. I don't have the resources in terms of finance also and equipment also. So I was just looking for something like I can do that. And like one day I was meeting with my professor, and he was asking me like, "Did you check it in US? We can do it or not?" So I say I'm sitting in Malaysia. I'm doing my PhD in Malaysia. How can I look in United States? So he said, look, in research, we have to first find out all the possible ways through which we can get some results, and then we can start looking how to get them. I hope you get my point. The thing is, if you are looking only US, and yes, my whole presentation, you will see many of the examples will be coming from US for the obvious reasons. So, I mean, yes, I hope you get the answer. And I really like the question, and I would like everybody to participate and coming like this. Can we move on?
In a few minutes, sir. In a few moments. All right, so we have another question before we move on. So,
Okay.
Pivot says, other than the use of electric vehicles and the more natural forms of transportation, such as walking, are there other forms of transportation that can be implemented which are green in nature?
Actually, frankly speaking, I couldn't get the exact meaning of your question. Okay. Other than the use of electric vehicles and the more natural forms of transport, such as walking, are there other forms of the transportation that can be implemented which are green in nature? Uh, yes. Why we can't wait actually to put to finish my slides actually. I'm giving you 10 ways today, okay? Other than walking, other than electric vehicles. Okay, we do have so many so many ways, but here we are discussing 10 ways how we can make it more green. I hope just bear with me, and if still I couldn't answer you any of my questions, your questions actually during my presentation, I'm here, and I'll be happily like discussing it with you. Okay, Fortune? Okay, we are number 9. Another slide. Thank you. Okay, let's finish this one. I think that's a good idea. That once we finish all the slides, then we can start the question answer session. Uh, And I hope within that we can, I'm sure most of the questions will be answered during all the slides. Fortune, can we go for the slide with number 9? I mean, number 9, the next one. Yes, this one. Okay. So another thing is, what do you mean by green highway partnership? I like this picture actually. You can see that highway. It's not highway. It's like high. We can say in the morning high and the other thing. And practically, I mean, we are promoting something like that. That whatever we are using here actually is it should be regulated by the Environmental Protection Agency of any country. So environmental protection again going for the greener actually path. So the Green Highways Partnership, an effort begun by EPA and the Federal Highway Administration, mostly in the US, I must say, but it is, I mean, getting popularity and adopted by other countries like in Australia also, seeks to enlist public and private entities in an effort to make highways function better for those who drive on them. Because we cannot, I mean, avoid the highways in any way. We like, I cannot walk for the rest of my life. I need a car. I need train. I need bus. Like I have to use them. So definitely we need highways. So how to make it more sustainable? So more specifically, green highways are those that use permeable materials in their construction. So what is permeable materials now? I mean, they actually the material which prevent toxins from seeping into the watershed or any kind of material actually which become chemically reacted with water. I mean, from the rain or from the sewage or also from the sun or any other harmful activities. So it should utilize recycled material to reduce landfill use. And we will be giving an example how we can do that and control invasive species and promote the health and nature, definitely. Another element of the partnership is that it aims to achieve all of these and many more goals through market-driven voluntary approaches and not via regulation. So in a way, I mean, if I'm driving every day, because last time I was in a year ago, not a year ago actually, early this year, I was in Sydney and I moved to Brisbane here. So in Sydney, life is much faster because it's a big city and the traveling is really, really, I mean, hectic. I hate traveling actually. I mean, the driving. So in Sydney, what I was doing is every morning I have to drive my car to my office because there was no train going there. And so the way I was going there, it took me like 40 minutes to 1 hour every morning. And when I'm coming back, it took 30 minutes extra. So that is something like I'm spending 2.5 hours every day on the same road. So what if that road become like this road, the one you are looking in the picture, actually, all the greenery and the feel of refreshness and other thing. Even if I'm stuck in jam, not the jam, we were looking in the other, but here on the highways. So I mean, it is not contributing to the harmful of the environment and other things. Okay, can you go for the next slide? Thank you. Okay, now this is the answer. I hope you people can recognize this bridge. Fortune, I think this is I took from the Lagos. I think Lagos. I mean, you're one of the pedestrian bridge there, but the example is definitely the other one. Anyway, so this is another answer. I mean, mode of transportation. How we make the mode of transportation more easy. So one of the answer is the pedestrian bridges. Now they say that in 1889, okay, this Highland Road in this New York was all about commerce and transportation only, allowing people and the goods to flow easily over the Hudson River 212. I mean, 64 kilometer actually. For years, the bridge sat unused after a fire in 1974. So there was one accident in 1974, and because of that, the walkway over the Hudson actually. I mean, uh, uh, 4 years because of this nearly destroyed. So nobody was using it. It was not used for commerce nor for transportation. So what people did in New York in 1974, that they try that this walkway over the Hudson, actually, they want to transform this 1.25 mile long, I mean, nearly 2 kilometer bridge into a place for the public to enjoy. So now imagine, I mean, these guys actually they opened the park in 2009. See, 1974 and 2009, a lot of efforts. So just think, I mean, that those areas which were actually haunted, I will say, because it was destroyed by the fire, no goods are transporting from there, no transportation is there, no commerce is there. So they just make it a park for the people and a walkway to enjoy. So this make the longest pedestrian bridge in the world. I mean, 2 kilometers, you just imagine. So pedestrian bridges provide opportunity for alternative environmental friendly transportation modes such as biking and walking. Now we can see that with other transportation needs, the one we were telling, that now we have this pedestrian bridges in which people can jog and can walk also and can do the biking also. So in this case, the walkway over the Hudson connects miles of trails on either side of the Hudson, encouraging exercises and clean mode of transportation. So this is called green, actually. Clean is green. So I'm sure in your country, Nigeria, there must be some places like that in which people have transformed it. Oh, even if it is not transformed, maybe it is newly built where people can run, jog, exercise along the traffic, actually, I mean, in a clean environment. Can we go for the next one? Okay, now coming to the construction material now. How can we use actually? I mean, see, uh, I'm sure many of, because being an engineer and engineering students, you may came across every day to, or often actually because of your projects or other things, going to the construction sites. These construction sites use a lot of different materials, and these materials are not 100% utilized. I mean, some of them, when it is used, the rest actually they just throw it. Yes, they dumped it, but what I'm saying is we have a lot of throw actually materials left. So what we can do with that actually? Can we use it? I mean, to make to I mean, can we use it to make some use of it? Just like there's a construction site or something, or I mean, there and they just left granite slabs from there, and I can take it and make a creative steps in the park. I can take the stones, okay, from some bridge or anywhere else and put it to create a variety of seating and walkways feature. Can I take the steel from some warehouse where they don't want to use it and just reuse it for some aesthetic purposes? Okay. And I mean, I can do so many things with this recycled material and provide a green boost to any project. So, what we are getting out of it at the end of the day, number one, we are recycling all the leftovers. So by recycling, what we are doing is we are using it, and when we use it, we clean the environment. We are not leaving it there. And second thing, what we are doing is we are boosting any of our project. I mean, it may not be only a park, actually, it may be a school, anything actually, or just a walkway in which we are using it. So this is the main idea here is the recycling to boost any project using the construction materials. So construction materials does matter. So there are plenty of aspects. I mean, again, I'm telling you because of the United States, because long history. So Brooklyn Bridge Park, that makes it green. I mean, I was there once and it's like 85-acre project. I hope we all know acre, what means, which is partially open as a park. And that first one built in Brooklyn City's Prospect Park more than a century ago. So it will replace all industrial area full of piers and warehouses with public space for recreation and restored wetlands and other habitat. It also relies on recycled and so see we are changing the environment. We are not leaving the things as it is. If you go back to slide number 2 where we were saying ice breaking, so we saw some garbage on the side. So what if I'm just using all the garbage, not cannot use all the garbage, but whatever left in that, and I can see like steel or debris or whatever I can use, I use clean that area, and I'm recycling and I'm boosting that environment also. So number 7 was construction materials, which we are using it to make contribution to the green environment. Okay, can we go for the next slide? Okay, number 6. So, okay, this picture I really like, and that's what I want to put it at the background more. Actually, I hope you can see it on the. So, from this picture, what you can see, I mean, on the first glance, we can see there's a railway track actually, and there's all the grass and everything. So, it shows that there's no more rail on this track now, and therefore we can see all the people here. So what we are doing, I mean, there's okay. I'm not like they say that. I mean, that in some city, actually, you can say that we have transformed what was once piece of what would now be called green infrastructure, an elevated railway line, which was transformed into a nearly 2.14-kilometer walkway and a park on the west side of Manhattan area. This is called High Lane. So, what was a transportation route for meat and other agriculture goods heading into factories and warehouses from 1934 to 1980 is now a popular park with areas of public art and urban gardens. So, this is another answer for that question, which was asked like beside walking and other things, what other things we can do. So, this is another thing like you can see we actually practically transform something from 1980s to a popular park now 2.1 kilometer, and I really like this picture. You can see, I mean, it's I would really like to have my evening walks here. Okay, Fortune, next. Another thing is like greenways. Now, what is the difference between greenways and the other old to new? So we always have coastal areas, okay, in our countries. I'm sure Nigeria also have the coastal area. Uh, I'm sorry for my geography actually, but in Australia we have a lot of coastal area here. So, and I would like what we can do with that now. I mean, we can do an attempt to create a continuous network of trails for use by bicycle and pedestrian. I mean, we can do that. You can see like we have uh, a walkway near the coastal. We can imagine. Just look this picture. How I mean, beautiful and environment friendly and fresh. It looks given to us, and you can see in the picture that there are 2 trees and 3 trees which are on the way actually. So they didn't cut the trees, and they just move around the tree. It is not like just because for our track, walking track or jogging track, we have to cut the trees. So this is another thing I want to show you. So just imagine walking and doing like this, just a small effort is required, and we can transform this coastway into a greenway. So they say that 1/4 of exercise now in the form of trail dedicated to non-motorized transportation effort like East Coast Greenways are essential green transportation infrastructure initiative, providing opportunity for those not in cars to get around and in between towns and in this case even states actually. So not all greenways, which are literally corridors for undeveloped land, often in the form of pedestrians oriented paths around cities or towns, all are as encompassing as one that snacks up the entire Atlantic Sea. But what does it mean is like we don't actually need uh, like a bedded or like this picture we share that it is formally have some a proper way, but we can just dig it out and make it some way. And I mean the main idea here is like we should have some greenways. Okay, next slide please. Okay, now this is the bike friendly community, the one as our friend was asking. So we can make our communities bike friendly now. The thing is, how can we make community bike friendly? The Well, let me share with you. I was once traveling in the Europe, and I was in Holland, Netherlands, so Amsterdam actually. And in Amsterdam, they call it. And they have a lot of flags there. So the bikers there actually they have their own path, and they are traveling, and they are. And the bikers are so fast actually. So we were informed by our friends there that be careful about this because they have their own path and they use it uh, for their daily commute within the city. So one example is that they have developed a really good infrastructure for bike-friendly community there. In Australia, because I'm living here now, so another good example, my personal like in Brisbane and also in Sydney and other cities, to promote electric bikes. What they do is there is, they have a hub of bikes everywhere. Some all the places in the city. All you have to do is to use your mobile and internet and make your online account and just pay by credit card or via bank. And it's really, you can do it like monthly payment, which is like membership. Just grab one of the bike and go around the city. And the same in the UK. I was actually so. What I'm saying is there are so many ways to make the community a bike friendly. So okay, so next one. Now, this is one of the most important thing. I mean, bus lanes. How the bus lanes are actually contribute to the greener environment. The first picture, if you remember, the buses, the cars, the people, everybody was mingled around, and that's actually what makes things more complex and messier. But see here, if we make a separate bus lane in our city, what benefit it will give us. Number one, the buses actually will be in time. It will reach to its place in time, no traffic jam. Number two, most of the people will opt to go by buses than to use the car. Why? Because they will know that if I'm traveling by bus from this time to this time, I can reach to my office in time, and there will be no traffic jam and lag other things. While you can see the cars, they may have some traffic obstructions. So now we are tempting people to put in the bus. So can you tell me how many people can we accommodate in a normal bus? Let's say 30. It must be more than that, but let's say 30. So if a car, 30 people are going to the office and they are using 30 cars, or for let's say two people in one car, so say 15 cars. So you can say that we are actually serving our environment from 15 to 30 cars daily just because of one bus. People are opting it, and the emission of carbon dioxide from those cars and the other the fuel consumption, the other things. So this is the way. We are doing it like this. So I will just go. China is one of them. Actually, they are doing a lot of good studies in this. Mm. So a study of 14-mile, nearly 22.5 kilometer bus rapid transit corridor in Guangzhou, China, that nation's third largest city, found that the system will reduce carbon dioxide by 86,000 tons per year in its first decade of operation. In addition to the study by this institute, they found that dedicated bus system reduces particulate emission that causes respiratory illness by 4 tons. So this is what we are talking now. Okay, I mean, just by putting the buses in the different lanes, we are doing a lot to our mother nature and making it more fresh and green. Next slide, please. Now, uh, we are always talking about buses and subways. So subways is the same thing, I mean, as the bus, but it is more, I mean, a refined form of the buses because most of the subways in developed countries, they travel underground. Uh, the more they are entering in the central business district, the center of the city, they travel mostly underground. Uh, I found Japanese subways more complex but more efficient when I traveled by them. And in just they say in New York, if you are traveling from certain suburbs, the train actually is really messier and not actually clean. So first thing is if I mean it is not clean, then who will actually go by it actually? But when we can say that by cleaning means like good cleaning, in reality is that these modes of public transportation take a heck of a lot of cars off the road. So the clean doesn't mean it should look like clean. Yes, it should look like clean. We should, I mean, look for the cleanliness also. But subways are clean means it is cleaning the roads from cars, from trucks, from sorry, trucks we cannot say because the mode of transportation other thing. Sorry. So the cars actually the daily commute. So you can say take a lot of cars out of the road and contribute mightily towards a greener planet. Uh, in all the big cities of the world, they use this mode of transportation, this subways. They call it metro somewhere. Buses is also one of them. But here we don't need a separate lane, just like we need for the buses, because it has a separate lane by default. So they say that uh, the Center of Transportation Excellence report that subways and buses are a major factor in fighting respiratory illness caused by the pollution. Less cars, less pollution. Indeed, the center says that the bus and subways ridership results in 156 million pounds, I mean some metric tons, of the nitrogen gas that causes respiratory disease from being emitted, which is to say nothing of the benefits in preventing the output of hydrocarbon that creates smoke and carbon dioxide that contribute to the global. So another thing is we can make subway or we can say subways are cleaning the road from the cars. The last one, okay. So the the biggest, I mean, the idea which combines everything is that while we are planning for any community or any township, uh, why not we just plan it like this that people have to travel less for their daily needs? Number one, we always need to go to the market for our groceries. So why not make the groceries and like some central I mean, you can say what they call it, central selling or shopping area. Yeah, shopping area in which you can find under one roof all your needs for your clothing, for your daily groceries and other things. Also, the medical hospital. Another thing is schooling. Another thing is parks. So why not we make all these things together? And together means that you have to travel less towards your destination. So the less you travel, if you are traveling by car, less emission of carbon dioxide. And if you provide a buses or subways like that, again, it is contributing. I mean, you are going to the central region. So smarter growth is like this. So to some people, thinking about green transportation infrastructure as isolation is my scare. Instead, they insist that a better approach is to figure out how to configure the entire community in such a way that the green and mode of transportation is simply the most obvious and easiest choice. I mean, just make, as I say, make have all their needs in the center or near to them. So, I mean, the green mode of transportation will be the most obvious and easiest choice for them. Smart growth, which emphasizes putting homes near shops, jobs, public transportation, does just that by making, I mean, zoning choices, I mean, for people. And communities throughout the United States, and I'm sure with the other countries also, have successfully converted their big boxes, storage, and parking lots into new community assets such as churches, school, houses, and mixed-use buildings, featuring, I mean, interconnected street grids, and all of them actually are making together is giving us a smart growth. So with that, we come to the end of the presentation, and I'm happy to discuss with you now.
All right, sir. Thanks for
Yes.
that wonderful presentation. I'm going to
Hmm.
show the questions we have now. So the first one goes first. So
Okay,
Kolaka is saying,
I can read now. So understanding that money makes the world go around. Living in a country where green transport and infrastructure are not prioritized at the moment, is there a short-term financially friendly approach to establishing and sustaining green transport and infrastructure? Look, the thing is, uh, you know, they say that quality starts from the home. So we can talk about many big ideas. You are right. I mean, they are applicable mostly to the developed countries like US and you can say Australia, Europe, other countries. But if we are talking about, I'll go with my country, Pakistan. So I'm living in some area and I want to make some change there. So what can I do now? Number one is my car. Okay, I cannot get an electric vehicle. Okay, so what can I do is I have to do. I mean, I have to service my car engine, the change the oil and everything in time. Why? Because it will keep my engine clean, the fuel clean, and there will be the emissions actually will not be as harmful as it can be. Another thing is I'm sure the electric bike idea. It is. I mean, I don't know about your country, but Pakistan is also adopting that one now. So electric bikes are coming there. It's not that expensive. I mean, it charges out way less than the electric vehicles. And another thing is, I mean, the walking. If I can walk for some place, I mean, in the evening, if I'm going to the shopping mall or some groceries, it is our habit now that we just take the bike, the car, or other thing. So why not we just try and walk through it? Okay. So this way, I am contributing to the environment. Maybe 0.0001%, but still I'm contributing it. Now come to another thing. If we can transform the way from my place to my shopping center, the way I walk every day, and I found that this way has a lot of garbage. People are throwing it. There is no grass there. There is always stones there. So can I think of something better that make it clean and make it more environment friendly by using my friends' help, taking a group of my friends come there. I mean, the change maybe we think is very less, but believe me, it's the impact is way far than our thoughts. So yes, finance is actually the main thing, but we can do so many things in our own capacity.
all right. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Moving on to the next.
Okay. Uh, what are the disadvantages, if any, of implementing infrastructure or grading transportation? Wow, that is, I was not expecting actually. What are the disadvantages? If there was like some disadvantage, why we will be talking about it today? So I think there are more advantages than we can think of any disadvantage for this.
All right.
Yeah, but it was a good and tricky question.
Good. Another.
Considering sustainability, are hydrogen cars greener than electric cars? Since they don't emit CO2 during the driving journey, what does it, okay, what does that mean that they are not polluting? Actually, when we are looking for the sustainability, we are looking for the viability also. Do we have the statistics that electric vehicle, okay, are like their production are already, the Tesla is doing all the production of electric cars, but did we ever thought that why hydrogen cars are not that popular as electric cars nowadays? There must be some reasons, huh? So one of the big reason is the viability. Viability means the finance. I mean, if we are making hydrogen cars or other, I mean, other form of renewable energy things, then the cost is actually too much at the moment. So yes, we would love to go for something which is not emitting any CO2 and still giving us the same luxury of traveling. But we have to look for the balance also.
All right. Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Another one goes. For,
Okay, again, Mr. Bolu, huh? So I like the cap in the picture. I hope, I mean, you see he's enjoying the fresh, I think he's sitting in the sea, huh? Or somewhere river. So what effect will constraints brought on the pandemic have on city-based green transportation option that put people in fewer vehicles preference for private? Uh, yes, you are right. Actually, pandemic has affected so many, or I will say it hits all the areas of our life. We can see the airlines, the main affectee, and some of the countries like Australia also they have opened their domestic airlines, but they are putting like one seat empty and one seat people. So literally they are taking half people as they could have done the previous one. And also in the private transportation, we are following the protocols. I mean, if I'm going with my colleague, then I cannot sit with him in the front. So I have to go back and sit in the back. So you are right. Pandemic has the effect actually on this thing. But again, if I see that the train, I mean, it has like normally 8 to 15 cars. We called it bogies also. And if one car or bogie is accommodating, let's say, 200 people, no 100 people, so that will come down to 100 people now. But still, I mean, it is a better option than a car actually. I mean, if I'm going by the train and I can find my timings and I can see, okay, because in this pandemic, what the Australians country actually their transport system did is previously they have like eight. So if they cannot go for 16 cars, they have added two or three more cars to the bogies to the train to accommodate more people while keeping the social distance. Plus, what they did is they put more trains, I mean, on the track. Previously, if you have in 10 minutes only one train is coming, now two or three are coming. So they have actually, what they did is people, I mean, the government is doing is to keep the people from private transportation. So yes, I mean, every pandemic actually it comes with opportunities and ideas to cope with it.
All right. Great answer, sir. Thank you.
Okay,
Uh,
okay. So that is all.
okay. Another question is up.
Okay, this one. Okay. Nigeria doesn't have the infrastructure for a stable power supply yet. Would it be would it be sustainable to start establishing green transport and its required infrastructure in terms of electric vehicles? Yes, I fully agree with you because I also belong from one developing country like Pakistan, and we are still facing power. We are facing the not stable power supply yet, and yes, these things actually I mean have a big restraint in going to the establishing a green transport actually. So I mean, you are right. I mean, would it be? I mean, we cannot sustain that. But what we can do is, just like in Pakistan, because Islamabad is our capital, so we can start small. I mean, we can start from a capital or some city or some, I mean, the other places. Just like we don't have the, I mean, sustainable power supply. So what we do is we have small power plants that runs by hydel, okay, coal also, and definitely other sources. I mean, wherever we have like starting from 1 megawatt to 10 megawatt, simple, small, 2 megawatt. So that is one of the way out for to cope with the unstable power supply. But again, yes, we have a long way to go and have all this. I mean, greener infrastructure and transport. You are right.
All right. Thank you, sir. There are no other questions, but I have one from my end. So it goes like, most of the um, ideas we're talking about are external, that they are not relating directly to the vehicles. So my question is there a way to encourage greener transportation in the design or material selection of automobiles?
Fortunately, can you write it for me?
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. I mean, there's some audio disturbance. I cannot hear. Okay. If I can read correctly, so how can greener transportation be promoted during vehicle design or material selection? Okay, it's a good question actually. The first thing is like, look, the 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 source actually, the source of power in the automobiles, that is our concern. First thing. So the source is electricity and the source is gasoline or the fuel. Because at the end of the day, we have to run our engine, and that engine is producing electricity or like power, and our tires and other things are moving. So with the problem, like the question, the answer to your question is that we have already been incorporated all those factors when we are moving towards the, to make the electric vehicles. Coming to the material side, every day and every new research, what we are looking in the material of the car. So car has so many parts or sections. The first, if you can go with the chassis and the structure of the car. So it should be robust. We cannot use we can only use the material with high strength and toughness and for impact loading, definitely in case of any accident and other things. So yes, and I'm saying that every day we are doing the research to make it more lighter, but in the same property. We cannot compromise on the safety and the properties. Then comes to the car body, and the car body, again, the material should be enough to sustain any impact from the outside as well as from the inside. And for that reason, if we are looking for, if we are comparing to make the car more environment friendly, then we should not be using some material that actually do any chemical reaction with any of the environment and produce some any harmful gases or other things. So at the moment, the main concern is given only to CO2 emission and other gases, because that is much more harmful to the environment. Plus, it is this sickness, the breathness and other illness. So most of the importance and is given to only to that. Okay, I hope I give you some answer.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I can see one more question that just popped up. So
Okay. Okay, Mr. Bolu. I think he's the one who is more interested. Okay, sir, where can we follow your projects and your work centered on green transportation infrastructure? Uh, I can share my what we can do. I mean, I can share you with my WhatsApp number. I don't know in Nigeria. I hope WhatsApp is working, so I can share with you my email ID and my WhatsApp number, and then we can go on from there. I mean, we can share all the, and also I'm on the LinkedIn, and Fortune actually is my in my friend list, so he can share with you my ID there. So there are so many ways actually we can be in touch.
perfect. Thank you, sir. There's been a
Okay.
wonderful session. So
Okay. So is it the time that we say goodbye to each other?
yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fortune. I really enjoyed being with you all guys. And actually, when I was doing my PhD in Malaysia, I had a lot of good friends from Nigeria, and still they are actually. And what I really am happy that I'm again in between you guys. Such a nice company, and I really like the interactive session, all the questions, and I hope that we can continue this in the future also. And
Yes,
I would request you to share my LinkedIn ID with all the participants here.
I'll do that.
So yeah, so I will happily add them, and if you or any of your colleagues or friends think that I can be of assistance to, in any of your projects, in the publication, the paper publication actually, so I'll do that happily.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. All right.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Okay.
So that brings us to the end.
Yes, and I hope everybody is listening to me, and I will say goodbye to everyone. Have a nice and wonderful day. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.